Welcome to a city like no other, where the streets come alive with music, the air smells like spices and powdered sugar, and every corner tells a story. This is not just a tour. It's a full sensory adventure through the best music, food, and culture New Orleans has to offer. So grab your beads, loosen your belt, and let's explore the magic of the Big Easy. New Orleans is not just a city, it's a soul-stirring melody, a feast of spices, and a cultural mosaic stitched together by centuries of history, resistance, and celebration. This southern jewel of the United States invites you to lose yourself in its magic, where jazz drips through the air like perfume, and the scent of fresh Beignets lingers on every corner. Culture in New Orleans is not something you observe. It pulls you in, dances with you, and teaches you to savor every note, every bite, and every story. 10. Entering the French Market, the city's living tapestry. Begin your journey at the iconic French Market, a vibrant corridor of commerce, conversation, and cultural exchange that has existed in one form or another since 1791. It is here that the city's layered history as a trading post, a melting pot, and a center of community comes to life. Walk past stalls overflowing with local spices, handmade crafts, fresh produce, voodoo tokens, and colorful masks that whisper of Mardi Gras secrets. Music from street performers fills the air, offering everything from traditional jazz to Afro-Caribbean rhythms. This is not just a shopping stop. It is the heartbeat of a city that celebrates life in every language and flavor. 9. Discovering Garden District gastronomy. Elegance meets earthiness. In the dreamy, oak-shaded lanes of the Garden District, you'll find an unspoken romance between southern sophistication and culinary excellence. The mansions may be stately and grand, but their kitchens tell stories that are rustic, soulful, and born of generations-old recipes. Sit down to a bowl of crawfish bisque or shrimp and grits that carries the warmth of Creole tradition and the finesse of high-end culinary artistry. In this neighborhood, dining becomes a cultural rite, where every flavor has ancestry, and every dish is a living memory served hot and with soul. 8. Immersing in the pulse of Frenchman Street. Frenchman Street is where New Orleans bears its musical soul without inhibition. Forget the neon chaos of Bourbon Street. This is where the locals go, where true artistry breathes on every stage and spills onto the sidewalk. The air is thick with the sound of horns, drums, and voices that tell stories of heartache, joy, and resilience. Enter a jazz club like the Spotted Cat or Blue Nile, and you might find yourself part of a spontaneous celebration that erases the boundary between performer and audience. Music here is an entertainment, it's oxygen, and every performance is a love letter to the city's living legacy. 7. Unraveling the mystery of voodoo culture. Step gently into the spiritual side of New Orleans, where Catholicism, West African religion, and local folklore merge into the unique realm of voodoo. Misunderstood by many, voodoo in New Orleans is not about superstition, but about community, healing, and history. Visit the Voodoo Museum or take a guided cemetery tour, where tales of Marie Laveau, the city's revered voodoo queen, linger like incense on sacred ground. From candles and charms in small shops to quiet rituals meant to honor ancestors, this tradition remains a vital thread in the city's identity, proving that New Orleans respects both the visible and the invisible world. 6. Living the spirit of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is not just a parade. It is a season, a sacred cycle of art, rebellion, and joy that starts well before Fat Tuesday and leaves a colorful mark long after the beads are gone. It's a time when neighborhoods erupt into dance, when secretive crews unveil extravagant floats, and when every citizen becomes royalty for a day. Whether you watch from a balcony or march alongside the brass bands, Mardi Gras shows you how this city turns celebration into survival and spectacle into soul. It is performance art and public ritual, stitched together with sequins, feathers, and fierce community pride. 5. Paying homage in Trema, the cradle of culture. Trema is not just a neighborhood, it's the cultural heart of New Orleans and the oldest African-American community in the United States. Here, music was not born, it was forged through pain, protest, and perseverance. Walk these streets, and you can still feel the echoes of Congo Square, where enslaved people gathered to dance, drum, and preserve their heritage in defiance of oppression. Visit the Backstreet Cultural Museum, where every exhibit tells a story of resistance, artistry, and unbreakable spirit. Trima is where second lines take to the streets, not just to mourn, but to rejoice, and where culture is not static but alive, evolving, and powerful. 4. Losing yourself in the French Quarter. The French Quarter is the crown jewel of New Orleans, a place where wrought iron balconies cast shadows over cobblestone streets, and every corner feels like a scene from a magical novel. Here, past and present embrace with sensual elegance. Tarot readers and poets gather in Jackson Square while ghost stories echo in the alleyways. Whether it's the scent of Creole cooking or the allure of candlelit courtyards, the corner wraps you in its arms and refuses to let you go. It's not just history, it's an intoxicating now that feels timeless. 3. Witnessing tradition at Preservation Hall. To walk into Preservation Hall is to step into a sacred space where time dissolves and only music remains. This modest building holds within it the roaring, weeping, laughing soul of jazz. Without flashy lights or bar counters, it creates an intimacy that turns each performance into a holy ritual. You are part of a musical lineage that stretches back more than a century. This hall is not just a venue. It is a temple where jazz lives, breathes, and continues to grow. 2. Cruising the mighty Mississippi, a river of memory. The Mississippi River is the lifeblood of New Orleans, its history as winding and deep as its muddy waters. Taking a paddle wheel steamboat cruise offers more than just scenic views. It provides an auditory and visual journey into the soul of a port city that traded in spices, stories, and sound. The slow churn of the paddle wheel mirrors the slow burn of blues music, of barbecue smoke, of time itself. The Mississippi carries the stories of enslaved peoples, of traders, of jazz musicians and poets, all wrapped in a current that refuses to stop flowing. 1. Becoming one with the spirit of New Orleans. And finally, the greatest treasure of New Orleans isn't a place, a song, or a meal. It's a spirit, an invisible but undeniable force that greets you with a smile, feeds you with fire, and lifts your soul with every note, every flavor, every dance. It's the resilience that rebuilt after Katrina. It's the joy that overcomes every sorrow. It's the way strangers become neighbors over a bowl of red beans and rice. This spirit cannot be bottled, bought, or borrowed. It can only be felt. And once you feel it, it changes you. New Orleans doesn't just stay in your memory. It lingers in your bones. You don't just visit it. You carry it with you forever. Whether it was your first visit or just one of many, one thing's for sure. New Orleans will keep calling you back. Thanks for exploring with us. And if you love this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more of the world's most incredible stories, flavors, and rhythms.